Hello there, in this video we are talking about how do you become an author as a coach. One of the reasons why you did become a coach is because you want to make a great contribution in society, that you want to help somebody else, that you want to be of service. And because of that, one of your desires might be to become an author. One of the best mediums that I have found in my life that has created tremendous impact in my life is when I've read a great book. And very often that has been the experience of my students when they got a chance to read one of my books, which, if you don't know, I have 3 of them. One is called The Book of Coaching, then we released Live Big, and then there was the Business Book of Coaching. Now, between these 3 books, we have sold thousands and thousands of copies, and I want to share with you today why I did that and how you can do that for yourself and see the benefits that I have enjoyed by writing these books. But before we get into how do you go from a coach to an author, we must understand the intent of writing a book. Most of the coaches make this classic mistake. We get so fantasized by the idea, we live so much in that fantasy of becoming an author that we start chasing this goal at the first time it comes as a thought. I would love to write a book. Oh, that'll be amazing to have a book to my name. But before you even go out and write your first word, you need to ask yourself a more important question. The question that I want you to ask yourself right now is, why do you want to publish a book? What is the purpose of that book? And here's the reason why I ask this question. Usually what I've found in the coaching world is there's one of 4 purposes that a person has when they're writing a book. The first purpose why coaches write books is because they want to organize their ideas in a sequential way. Sometimes coaching can be pretty fluid. You usually show up to a conversation and respond to what shows up. And because of that, it is very often that you don't have a sequential structure to your thinking and how you really create results for your clients. A book or writing a book can help you organize your mind. It can help you organize your thinking. It can help you organize your process or your methodology that you use to create an impact in the world. So that's very common for coaches to write a book so they can organize their mind and organize their methodology into a document, which helps them bring clarity to their own thinking and, of course, be able to translate that clarity to their client sessions. The second reason why coaches write books is because they want to use it as a marketing tool. It's really easy for somebody to send over a book to a potential client and have them read it before even getting an engagement call. Very often you will find that writing a book and distributing it and running a whole campaign around it would create more clients to join your programs. It will help your clients be able to take your coaching programs, your group programs, or attend your seminars. All of them become much more easier to do once your book becomes a medium of marketing. So the second reason why a coach might want to write a book is so it can be used as a marketing medium. The third reason a coach might want to write a book is because they want to advance. They're looking for some money to come through by a book deal. And that is the third reason why sometimes a person may want to write a book. They just want to get paid to write their ideas into a document because they enjoy writing that document. And the fourth reason a coach may want to write a book is because they want recognition. They are looking for recognition in the world. They're looking for recognition for their work. They're looking for recognition for their talent. They're looking for recognition in the outside world beyond the fold of people that they already know. Now, each of these 4 things also has a hidden agenda that a coach has, which is to have more impact in the world, which is the primary driver for a coach to do anything. So these could be the 4 reasons with the ultimate objective of impacting more people that you may be choosing to write a book right now. Now, there are 2 publishing models, and the reason why I'm sharing all this information with you is it's important for you to know what and why you're writing. Because if you're not clear on that, it may become a little bit difficult to really start writing your book outline, which we're going to work on today. There are 2 ways of publishing your book. You may want to be published or you want to be self-publishing. If your agenda is to organize your thoughts or to make your book your marketing tool, use the self-publishing model because you have more control on your writing and nobody from the outside world is telling you what you can or cannot write. When you are using your book as a marketing tool, it's important that you have creative control on your book because that creative control will allow you to write the book in a way that the person that is receiving it receives it as a marketing message as much as it creates an impact in their life. It's the same reason when you're organizing your mind, you don't want somebody else telling you that you're thinking right or wrong and want to have the creative control of writing. And that's why self-publishing model is a better model if those are your objectives. If your objective is to get an advance or to get recognition, going for a publisher model is a better model for you to go. Publisher models are slightly more complicated. You have to go around, make a proposal, have a book publishing company accept your proposal, then write the book, have the editor edit it, and then after that, make sure that they approve it still, and then they run the marketing, and then you have to coordinate with their team. I've done it. I know it's very complicated. So publisher model only useful if you're looking for recognition or if you're looking for an advance for writing the book that you're writing. Otherwise, I would say stick to self-publishing. It is a much simpler model and it has a lot more creative control as an author. Now that you know why you're writing something and what model you're gonna go for, comes the next step. And that is to know what you will be writing about. What you will be writing is one of the more critical things to define as you're starting to go from becoming a coach to an author. The best first step to really know what you're going to write about is to find what is the piece that you most frequently talk about? What's the easiest piece for you to most frequently talk about? What is the most common thing a client really hires you for? And that becomes your idea for the book. Don't worry so much about the title of the book, what will it contain, but mostly on what direction of thinking, what's the outcome that you're writing for. Which brings me to the third step, which is to define the outline of the book. Remember we talked about the outcome that you would want your client to have at the end of the book, or the outcome that you most commonly work or is hired for in your coaching practice? Take that outcome and make that the end of the road or the end of the book. Now, write down usually where your client meets you at. Let me give you an example. When I'm working with companies, very often the end goal of the company is to get to multiple 8 figures. For the sake of example, let's call it 50 million. And usually when these companies come to me, they're generating anywhere between $1 to $5 million. So the title of the book might be Path to 50 million. And this book would contain first step being at 5 million, challenges at 10 million, challenges at 20 million, challenges at 30 million, challenges 40 million, and living the life of $50 million company. Right? This is very arbitrary what I just shared. But what I'm really trying to demonstrate here is if the person or my potential client or potential reader is at a $5 million company, wants to get to $50 million company, my content of the book is simply the step-by-step that will take them from where they are to where they want to be. Because that's why they bought the book. The reason they're buying the book is they want to fulfill this ambition of building a $50 million company. The reason why they will be able to follow along the book is because they relate to the person that is at a $5 million level as a company, right? You want to ask same questions for you. Let's say your book is about losing 50 pounds in 50 days. So last chapter would be about living the life of a person as somebody who has just lost 50 pounds in 50 days. The first chapter would be how is it being overweight by 50 pounds, and then losing your first 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds. You see how once I know where I want to take my reader and where my reader is at when they pick up the book, it gives me step by step after that on taking them through this journey. So think about it for yourself. Where is it that you want your reader to be? Where is your reader right now? What could be the potential steps that they will have to take to be able to go from that point to that outcome? And that makes the content section of your book or the outline of your book. Now that you have an outline of the book, most likely you'll find that this outline of the book may also be the chapters in your book. Sometimes it is the case, sometimes it is not. So this is a more to be seen kind of a thing once you've actually written down the content. But once you've written down the content, see if that content outline is actually your chapter outline or the chapter titles or some version of chapter titles. As you define these chapters or these chapter titles, go ahead and free write what could be topics that would cover in each of these chapters. Say, for example, if I was writing that book about losing 50 pounds in 50 days, I might write in my first chapter, which is about reflecting on being overweight by 50 pounds, on what does it feel like? How does your energy feel like? Or what are some of the things to really think about when you are overweight? And what are some of the negative beliefs that a person might have when they are overweight? What are some of the false theories they might be told if they were overweight? And all of those ideas become an idea stack that I will be using when I actually get down to writing. And you want to write that for each of the chapter. You want to find out what are some of the key highlights, maybe some researches that you know, maybe some stories that you might remember about that particular stage or from that particular stage or from a client experience. And you want to write those down in bullets right below the content section or chapter section, however you want to call it. Because what you're really looking for before even starting to write is a framework to write. Most of the times people don't end up writing their books is because they want to start writing. And starting to write from a blank piece of paper is so much more difficult. If you know the framework, if you know where you need to go in that chapter, in that section of the book, it's much easier for you to write because you know exactly where you're going. So at this stage, you have your book structure. You know where the book is about, you know where the book is going to take the client, you know where the book is going to start. You kind of have a loose idea what your chapters would be. You have a loose idea of what the contents within the chapter would be. Now you have to make a big decision. And this is something that you need to know for yourself as a writer or as somebody who wants to write their own book. There are two types of writing. One is people who love writing every day. They wake up in the morning, the first thing they want to do is write. Or the last thing they want to do is to write. But the point is that they love writing every single day and they would rather do it that way. This is very typical of people who write books very frequently. Best-selling authors tend to wake up every day and write the next chapter of their book or keep writing until they've nailed the chapter of the book. And that tends to be frequent writers, novel writers, storytellers, and so forth. And that might be your way. Or there might be another way, which is once you have created all of this outline, you may be what I call a batch writer. I am a batch writer. I would make this outline, it'll sit in my computer, I will start plugging in research whenever I get time, and then once a year, I would have about 7 to 10 days blocked off for simply to write. And I would sit down for 8 hours a day, every day for these 10 days and write. And I would write my entire book out in this period of 8 to 10 days. And once the book is written, I would send it over to the editor and then refine it over an extended period of time. But my first draft, the main draft of the book, which is my first draft, where it's all the research is there, all my writing is originally written with no editing, no grammar check, nothing, is done in 8 to 10 days flat, right? That is what I call batch writing. I prefer it that way. I found most coaches would rather batch write because they don't have the time every day to write. So choose what is your experience though, because everybody is different. Find what is your writing style. Now, based on that writing style, pick a publish date. It is easier for a batch writer to pick a publish date because I can simply say, I've scheduled 10 days to write in 3 months from now, 6 months from now, my book will be launched, right? The reason I'm saying 6 months after my first draft is done is because it needs to go to editor, grammar check, it needs to be uploaded, designs need to be made for it and so forth, which can take anywhere between 2 to 3 months, right? So what you want to do is you want to pick a publish date. And the reason why that publish date is so very important is, again, it pushes you to actually go ahead and write. A lot of times when you get into the mode of writing, when you get in the mode of developing your content, you would doubt yourself, you will question yourself, you will fail yourself in actually delivering to your commitments. Having a end of the line publish date, having that commitment that the book comes out on that day gives you that motivation that you need to do consistent action. Because if you do not take consistent action, the publish date is immovable. You still will have to publish on that day. It creates intrinsic motivation for you. And so you tend to finally write that book. It's very important to have that publish date. So set your publish date 3 months after you know you'll finish your book. So you have enough time to edit it, grammar check it, and make sure it's designed well and it's uploaded in a way that you wanted to upload it, that you have pre-order copies, that you can announce a little bit ahead of time on when the book is going to come out. And then it brings you to your final job, which is to write, to actually take this outline, actually take that batch time of content or everyday writing to chase that publish date and finish that book. Creating a book or writing your book may be one of the greatest investments you make in the marketing and positioning of your work. It might be one of the simplest ways to constantly remind themselves of the beautiful work that you put out in the world. If you haven't considered putting out a book under your name, I highly recommend you to consider writing a book, because as a coach, it could be one of those beautiful tools that are out there in the world making an impact when you can't personally coach someone. Share with me if you've actually ever considered writing a book and what stopped you. I would love to hear your comments and be able to support you in any way I can so that you can get that book out in the world and we get to read it that way. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button, share it with someone who wants to write a book. And if for some reason you still haven't subscribed to this channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can get notified every single week as we release a new video. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is Ajit Navlakha and you're watching this on EverCoach.